Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. And of course, every Monday we chat with the TTPS. This morning, Inspector Michelle Lewis joins us yet again. Good morning, Inspector.
Good morning to you. Good morning to you, ma'am. It's always a pleasure to be here to represent.
It's always a pleasure to have you here. Now, this morning, the topic is child pornography. Yes. Now, before we get into the hard questions about it, can we start with defining what child pornography is and what does the law say about child pornography?
Sure, the definition is quite extensive, right? So we know from the Act, the Children Act 4601, Act 12 of 2012, which actually came into effect in May 2015, right? Now defines a child as anybody under the age of 18.
Right.
So going with that now, child pornography means a photograph, film, video, or other visual representation, whether or not made by electronic, mechanical, artistic, or other methods that show for a sexual purpose, a child engaging in explicit sexual activity or conduct, a child in a sexual explicit pose, parts of a child's body pasted to visual representation of parts of an adult body, or vice versa.
Like photoshopping?
That's right.
Right, go ahead.
Parts of a child's body which has been rendered complete by computer-generated images or by other methods of visual representation, but does not include any visual representation produced or reproduced for the purpose of education, counseling, promotion of reproductive health, or as part of a criminal investigation or prosecution or civic proceedings, or in any lawful performance of anybody in their professional capacity or duty. So
that last part confusing me, I can't lie. And anybody in their professional capacity, they're allowed to see naked children?
Professional duty. So, for example, a doctor.
Okay.
I may have it for
sometimes the way that is word the law, it is a little confusing now, so I have to make sure we clear on what
so the promotion of reproductive health. So if you're showing that, right?
Right.
Or as part of a criminal investigation and prosecution.
Right.
Or civic proceedings. Or in the lawful performance of a person's professional duties and functions.
Okay.
So counselors, police officers, you know.
Counselors need to see children naked?
Yeah, the Act covers for counselors as well. Teachers, legal officers, counselors.
Tell us about the repercussions of the law. Like what happens if you do these things?
So the law, so we have identified what is, right? So if someone does that contrary, it is now up to that person to prove that they did not have child pornography. In other words, the burden of proof is on that person to prove that they didn't have the child pornography.
Sorry, you have to forgive me here, because if I get arrested for something, I have to prove that I did not do it.
You have to prove that you didn't have it. So therefore, if it's on your phone or it's on your desktop, you have to prove that it is not yours.
Okay.
So the burden of proof lies with the person who is alleged to have committed the offense.
Guilty.
Until proven innocent.
There are some offenses for which it is the burden is switched to the police to prove.
Right.
In this case, the burden is on you to prove that it is not so. So, for example, let us say, for example, a police officer has it in their capacity, child pornography. It is the burden of the officer to say, well, all right, I'm investigating this matter. There's a report in relation to it, and I'm investigating it.
Okay, so then in that case, any of those forwarded messages, people sending videos, people sending pictures, that kind of thing, everybody who sends it and who receives it is likely to get charged or liable to get charged.
Correct. So the offense, the charge, let me give you what so in some cases it is summary offense. Summary offense means in the magistrate's court. And in some cases, it is both summary and indictable, which means the High Court. And in some matters, it is strict indictable. So for 20 years, for example, so let me read it, because we know persons kind of take it for granted, the seriousness that surrounds child pornography. Because not only is it criminally wrong, but it has serious implications for the children.
And for society in general.
And for society. Because when these images go, they do not return. You cannot devoid them.
The internet is forever.
Right. So that image of the child, and not only that, some persons also take it for granted among young people that you cannot, if you share it among young persons, it is okay. It is also a criminal offense to share to share across the board.
Okay, so if young people share with other young people
It's
who are
still
both,
offense.
if everybody's under 18, it's still very illegal.
is still-
So from the time you take a picture of a underage person,
Right.
under 18, from the time that picture happens, that's
Right.
even break the law there
For
already.
for
Sexual purposes.
correct.
So all them girls who posting on IG and they half naked bikinis and things, that's
Right, so-
technically legal?
So explicit poses,
Mm-hmm.
and so you have to prove all the ingredients and all of that, right?
And
And
the
so
ingredients?
if it is, of course, and if it is, for example, you that is shared from you to Samantha, I'm just saying, right? Both you who sent it and the receiver, right? If you open it and you view it and then you subsequently share it further,
But what if I open it and view it and delete it? Then you have no proof.
then we have no proof.
So the burden of proof no longer on me.
No, because
But-
we have no evidence to prove that you
Yeah.
did.
So you know, go ahead,
Very-
Samantha. You ask questions
Right,
because
so-
girl.
So I feel like, you know, this thing, listen, they just don't send me nothing.
Right?
I don't want to end up in court, you know, don't.
And it is
Don't
a
send me
serious
that.
offense, you know.
It's very, very
it's a serious
serious.
offense, you know. It is a serious offense. So persons who purchase, exchange, or otherwise received any child pornography commits an offense and is liable on conviction, on indictment, to a fine of $30,000 and to 10 years in prison.
Is this something
And
that we actively
to-
pursue? Like
we
we
do.
have people who've been arrested for child pornography
I was
and are
about
serving
to ask
jail
that.
time.
What
we
is the
do have
detection rate
persons,
like?
so we do, I don't have the data, but we do have persons who have been charged for child pornography. There were several new offenses that came under the Act 12 of 2012, sexual grooming, child pornography, and all of those new offenses that came under that piece of legislation. So from 2015 to current, you would see those offenses appearing criminally before the court and persons so charged. So of course, indictable matters would move from the magistrate court
To the High Court.
to the High Court before you can get a conviction. So it is not one of those offenses that were there for years and, you know, you have the matter. And so it could take a period of time before you actually see the case come to conclusion.
Wow, I mean, who would have thought we'd be sitting here this morning talking about child pornography out
Yeah,
of everything?
So we encourage parents especially, right? Because at the end of the day, the mind of a child, as we know, is still underdeveloped.
Yes.
And the responsibility of a child remains with the parent, the guardian, the caregiver, right? So that monitor your child's devices. We know that children sometimes have different accounts and they use different symbols to mean different things. When you notice that your child is being very secretive, and wherever they go inside, wherever part of the house or by other relatives, they take their phone with them, they want to lock the door and that kind of thing. They're up different hours of the night and that kind of thing. And, you know, they're very protective and private about their device. That's some areas of concern. Always know the access code, the password of your child's devices,
Yeah.
whether cell phone, laptop, and they do have more than one account. That is really, really important to know. They do have several accounts, and sometimes they delete it.
Yeah.
One time.
How do parents keep up? I mean, like you're saying, that most of the children they born knowing how to use this technology, right? So they born knowing what is an Insta and a Finsta and all kind of thing, right? So that things I still learning about, and I on
Agreed.
social media every day,
Likewise.
Right.
right? So how do parents keep up? How are they expected to keep up with all this ever-changing technology?
So most important thing in relation to a parent-child and protecting a child from any type of abuse is the relationship that parent, guardian, or caregiver has with that child. That's crucial. You can't take away anything from that. So if as a parent, guardian, or caretaker, you know, in that capacity, you educate your children and let them know this is right and this is wrong, they would, of course, know. So, for example, if they see that kind of thing come and tell them, shut their eyes and delete it. Right? So don't even let it go into their system for them to, you know, because it's a process.
Should I be reporting people who send that to me? If somebody if I'm saying like people are forwarding these sort of images and that kind of thing, should I report that to the police?
It is an offense. So we are asking persons, if you have information of child pornography being shared, right, or persons in a group, bring that information to the police. When we have a report, we investigate the matter. But we need a report in order to
begin investigations.
So we need to gather the information and the evidence and to be able to have a successful prosecution.
Yeah, this is a very serious conversation, a very serious topic this morning that we need to be aware of. I think a lot of people may not realize how severe it is and how widespread it is as well, because lots of people share this and they think it's okay. They just share and whatever is whatever. But at the end of the day, it is an offense. It's illegal and it's immoral.
It is.
And as a part that I could never get over. So I don't have no friends who do share them kind of things, because if you was doing that, we can't be friends.
Right, and that's a good thing. It's nothing to be proud of in the first instance, because it is wrong.
Exactly.
You know, it is wrong. So we encourage young parents to pay attention to your children's devices, most important, and do spontaneous checks on your children. But that relationship, nothing really
is the key.
Beats that back.
Yeah,
Let that child have that trust in you, that when the child brings information to you, you do not doubt the child, you do not make the child feel as if they are to blame for what took place.
But let's just say in an instance a young person falls a victim of this circumstance. What steps would you recommend that they take?
So within the organization, so the child now becomes a victim. So the investigation is taking place, and parallel to that would be counseling. Of course, we will inform the Children's Authority, and they have their scheme of work that they will do. They will also do counseling. But to the police service, we also do counseling as well.
Nice.
So it will have that, and of course, it is open to the family, because the family is affected. Because if something is shared in social media, my sister posted out, the brother will be affected, the entire family will be affected. So it has some serious. And then, of course, you're looking for a job next couple months.
And they go on Google and they find that. That's another piece of background. But Inspector,
so,
I wanna thank you so much for joining us. You know, the time does fly when we talking here every time.
It really does fly.
But thank you so much for sharing with us this morning. And of course, I know this information is very valuable.
It
and
is.
People will take it with them as we go forward. So thank you again for joining us.
Our pleasure, always.
We take a quick break and we come back with more inside the Now Morning Show. Stay tuned. We have a lot more on the show still.
Love and peace. Let's say thanks to the police.